Certainly a topic that is very near and dear to all the people that are in this room and to our organization is that of insurance, both property and casualty insurance, health insurance, and all insurances that we deal with. Kentucky Farm Bureau got in the insurance business to serve our members in the 1940s because farmers had difficulty getting affordable insurance coverage for farms, livestock, homes, and automobiles. Kentucky needs strong insurance companies capable of paying claims during disasters. Our policy states we believe that many awards in personal injury cases are excessive and have resulted in higher insurance premiums. We support tort reform to include, but not be limited to, a cap on the amount of damages, such as a maximum of $250,000 that can be awarded for non-economic loss. Tort reform should also limit attorney fees paid from the awards. We support changes in Kentucky's health insurance laws that will stabilize the market, encourage competition, and increase consumer choice. Our two questions for you today concerning insurance coverage. Number one, would you support tort reform in the Commonwealth to help make Kentucky more business friendly? Second, beginning in 2014, Kentucky opted to expand Medicaid coverage. In 2017, Kentucky will have to begin paying a portion for this expansion. As governor, what is your plan to address the cost of expanded Medicaid?
Mr. Conway, you're first.
Well, Kelly, thanks for the question. I appreciate it very much. I've been a practicing lawyer in private practice for a number of years. Litigation issues are issues that I know well. I think I understand where the system works and where it doesn't work. I think there are two areas of tort reform that we need to explore as a Commonwealth. Number one, I think too many out-of-state firms are targeting the nursing home industry in this state. We're gonna have to do something. I'm not gonna close access to the courts, but we're gonna have to do something to make certain that Kentucky is not a place that's seen as very friendly to volume litigation. Secondly, I've always been a supporter when it comes to medical malpractice insurance premiums for doctors, of saying let's rate the doctors together. We've got a peculiar exposure in this state as a matter of insurance law for OBGYNs. It costs more in premiums for an OBGYN than any other doctor. And I support, as a matter of insurance law, changing the state law to say that, look, we're gonna rate all doctors together so that we don't single out OBGYNs in the state, because you've got a peculiar liability there. Secondly, on the issue of health insurance, look, Kentucky has been an example of when you put rhetoric aside and we say we're going to do things the Kentucky way, that we can do it right, better than other states, better than the federal government. And what we've done here is we've created an exchange, and Governor Beshear has made a decision to go ahead and expand Medicaid coverage. And by and large, it's worked. We got about 550,000 more people on health insurance now than we did a couple of years ago. Is it perfect? No. Do changes need to be made? Yes, and we'll monitor that. What's it going to look like in 2021? We're still assessing that. But let's be clear, there are two separate things here. There's the Connect Exchange, which was funded initially by a grant, and then the insurers pay a fee that used to go to the high-risk pool, and that's covering Connect now, and we can afford it. We're not talking about new dollars. And then you've got the Medicaid expansion up to 138% of poverty level, which signed up about 350,000 new people. I agree too many people are on Medicaid. We need a healthier economy so that we get people off of Medicaid. We need to create not just jobs, but good paying jobs. That gets people off of Medicaid, okay? But here we are as a shining example of a state that's doing it right. Steve Beshear has commissioned a study. It shows that the Medicaid expansion will pay for itself. Over the next 6 years, $30 billion in economic activity, hundreds of millions of dollars into the Treasury. I've talked to Governor Beshear. We are talking about segregating the money to show the people of Kentucky that this can indeed pay for itself. But what I am not going to do is what my opponent will do on day one, which is by executive order, kick over 500,000 people off of health insurance based on what we can or can't afford in 2021. To me, that's not courageous, that's callous. The federal government's giving us some flexibility. We'll work through this over the next 6 or 7 years. If we can't afford something, we can potentially scale back. But I am not going to kick 500,000 people off of health insurance in day one of my administration.
I'm glad that I have an opportunity to speak for myself as well, because it's interesting the interpretation of things that is coming from you, Jack. With respect to tort reform, absolutely, we need tort reform in this state, no question about it. Take a look at my blueprint for a better Kentucky. It's in there. I've stated it unequivocally. You mentioned you've worked in the private sector as a practicing attorney. You have for maybe 5 or 6 years total in your entire life in between political jobs when you've lost an office and your dad's hired you for a little while. That's not a real career. And truth be told, you say the things you're going to do. You use words like monitor this, assess that. You talk about cowardice. Good grief. You have been the attorney general in this state for years. When have you led on these issues? You're going to just now start addressing tort reform in this state? I mean, for crying out loud, this is in the wheelhouse of your responsibility. Yes, we need tort reform. Yes, I will support it. And I can assure you that we will not be a state that is seen as a destination for people because of the fact that we have such lax laws as it relates to this. With respect to the Connect program, we cannot afford to have 25% and fast growing toward 30% of our population on Medicaid, period. Whether you like it or not, whether you think it's fair or not, whether there's supposedly a need or not, truth be told, we can't afford it. And if you offer something to people that you know you can't pay for, you're lying to them. That's cruel. That's inappropriate. I have not said that on day one by executive order I'm going to kick these people off. That's an absolute lie. And for you to continue to perpetuate it over and over when you know it to be a lie is untrue. It's inappropriate. It's unprofessional. It's unbecoming of the office that you're running for. You say words matter, they do matter. What I've said is during the open enrollment in 2016, we will transition people from the state level exchange, which is Connect, to the federal level exchange, which based on the latest Supreme Court ruling has indicated definitively that there is no advantage being offered now at the state level that is not available to folks at the federal level. None. Why are we paying for it twice? Why are we one of the few suckers left in America as a state that's paying for it twice? This study that Governor Beshear cites is nonsense. It's absolute rubbish. It says that we've created 12,000 jobs and $30 billion in economic opportunity by putting 1 out of 4 people on Medicaid. If that's the case, why don't we put all of us on Medicaid? Think about the jobs. Think about the economic stimulation. It's nonsense. Why not just put signs at the borders asking for Medicaid people to come in from other states, grow our state to 6 billion people, and put 6 billion folks and put us all on Medicaid? Million folks. I mean, why would we not do that? Because it doesn't make sense, and we know that it's not true. The question earlier about fiscal management, we need somebody who actually understands how the wealth is created, what you all do and what your clients in representation does every single day. This is what I will bring to the equation. It's not hypothetical. I don't need to monitor and assess this. I'm telling you for a fact we're going to dismantle the Connect program. We're not going to have 25% of Kentuckians on Medicaid because when we do this, the people for whom this program was designed are not getting access because we have too many people who don't need the program that are diluting those dollars and taking them. This will change.